Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 2001's Baby Boy. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you can follow me at Junior D's. You can follow Corey at Corey_idol. As always, if you want to follow the show, you could follow it on Twitter and Instagram at Kiss the Reviews.
And a great reason to follow both you and I.
Please tell us.
Very easy link. Really the only reason. But it's a very easy link to find my debut novel, Back to the Hunt.
There you go.
Coming to stores soon. Hurry up, get your motherfucking asses out there and buy this book. It's a quick read. It's a good read. It's fun. It's exciting. If you like action and violence and cursing, you will probably like my book quite a bit. And actually plots that make sense, much like our movie today, Baby Boy.
Exactly. And I read the book. I was an early reader. Also bought it. So I read it and bought. Look at me. I'm just supporting. I'm supporting my boy.
That's a real friend right there.
There you go. But it is a good read. So click the link in the description below. Buy that shit. So with that said, let's get into the cast of Baby Boy. This film stars Tyrese Gibson as Jody Summers, Taraji P. Henson as Yvette, Omar Gooding as Sweetpea, Tamara Bass as Peanut, Ving Rhames as Melvin, AJ Johnson as Juanita, and Snoop Doggy Dogg as Rodney.
A couple things. First off, one,
I got a couple things too, but yeah. I'll let you go first.
Just speaking on the cast and the crew of this, John Singleton is probably one of the most underrated storytellers of our time.
Absolutely.
Like, a lot of people will talk about, Aaron Sorkin and these other brilliant screenwriters that could put these wonderful words on paper and then transfer that to film and visualize a complete story for us. And there are a lot of good ones. There really are. Scorsese, etc. It's tough to beat John Singleton, dude.
It really is. And this, he's so good.
And he punches you right in the face at the very opening monologue. Do you know how many whiteys I know that cannot make it through this opening monologue?
You were right.
Especially in this, he does. He hits you right between the eyes in from the opening moment of this. But I will say regarding the cast, and listen, you know me, I love Snoop. Just get that out of the way. But my God, for a dude who looks like the Slenderman and rocks hairstyles that 6-year-old girls rock, I don't understand how he looks so goddamn cool. Like, he pulls off every single one of these hairdos, and I'm like, what? Are you a 6-year-old girl? What kind of shit is going on? But he makes every one of those look cool as hell. Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. If you are worried about how you look or your style or whatever, if it's going to be accepted, just be yourself and be confident in yourself.
Yes.
And that will allow you to be the Snoop Dogg of your school or your workplace or whatever the fuck you're doing. But Snoop is so effortlessly smooth with everything he does that it works. He can pull off anything. You're just like, all right, cool. The only thing really Snoop to me couldn't pull off was reggae.
You would never recognize unless you see the fire in my eyes.
As long as you have confidence, like Snoop owns everything. It doesn't matter if we're talking about a 6-year-old girl's hairstyle or rocking the wife beater tee with no like meat on his bones whatsoever. It looked like a skeleton in science class. It doesn't matter what look he's going for. He owns it. He rocks it. And for some strange reason, he just looks cool.
Yeah. And in this movie, very scary, very intimidating.
Yes, 100%.
If he came out of, well, we'll get to it, but if he comes out of an apartment like, hey, cuz, what are you doing? I'm running. That's what the fuck I'm doing.
Nothing, guy. I'll see you later.
Nothing, fella.
So let's start with the opening of this movie. So this movie opens with a voiceover from Tyrese talking about a psychiatrist theory about how black men are trained to think of themselves as a baby. While we also get visually a naked Tyrese in the womb, which if you pay attention to the words that Tyrese is saying, like, it's heavy shit. But if you're watching it, you're like, it's just a weird way to open, not the voiceover, but the visual of it.
No, the visual
but it's cool.
No, the visual was very striking, and I think it was also necessary just to emphasize exactly what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because Tyrese's character is a fucking child. And I don't mean like, oh, he's 20 and trying to figure his stuff out like everybody else. No, this dude's like 12 in a 20-year-old's body.
Yeah.
It's not okay. Like he's playing third base for the Puerto Rican Little League team.
Yeah, like he's a 12-year-old with a man dick. Like that's basically Tyrese in this movie.
Yeah, dude. It's just, there have been some adult characters on screen before.
Oh yeah.
But never to this extreme. And what is great about Singleton, again, in his writing, is it's not so over the top that it's not believable.
Yes.
He's a very believable character. And I know the focus is on the black man in America and how he's treated and how he's conditioned to, believe in himself and etc. But I also found this, in trying to empathize, much easier than something like Boys in the Hood right off the bat, because I didn't grow up in the fucking hood. I can try to understand it, but I don't know what the fuck that life is like. You know what I mean? I can know the rules. I can know the color to wear. I can know what not to say, but I don't live that life. We've all, especially men, have all been that adult fucking kid. Maybe not to the extreme of him in this movie, but we've all been that adult kid. So it was so easy to empathize with his character and immediately be able to relate to what 100%. He's going through, and especially at our age now, looking back and going, oh, dude, mistake. That's not what you do. You know what I like?
Immediately.
This whole thing is a don't do that in a PSA.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And so the movie, basically, after the naked Tyrese, we get into the movie and it cuts to Jody waiting for Yvette to come out of the women's clinic after having an abortion. And after they get home, Yvette is in bed. Jody tries to console her. She tells him to get out. And his response is, I guess you won't mind if I use your car if you're gonna sleep. Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi guys, Uncle Corey here. If you are escorting your partner to and fro from the Schmortion clinic, my best piece of advice to you is not to refer to your partner as baby, because she just killed one. Don't remind her of that.
That's a great point. That is
just use her name, call her darling or honey or sweet. Call her anything other than baby or child or infant. You know what I'm saying? Especially when your girl's already sucking her thumb. This is not a good look, Jody. Just off the bat, you're demonstrating how fucking clueless you are to the situation that just happened.
100%. 100%. And by the way, if your nickname for your significant other is infant, you have more problems than a little bit. So
you were right.
He leaves, he takes her car. By the way, that's a quick don't do that too. If your chick just had a schmortion, don't steal her car and then go rocking around the neighborhood, especially to your other fucking baby mama's fucking house, where he goes next. And this sets up Tyrese's character, because he goes to Peanut's house, who he has a kid with. Her mom comes home. You get that whole back and forth. But the whole beginning 7 to 10 minutes of this movie doesn't paint Jody in a very good light whatsoever. Like immediately just right off a jump from, hey baby, to I'm going to take your car to drive to my ex's place to go get my daughter. And like everything he does and says in the first 10 minutes of this movie, you're like,
well,
no.
even your description of it is almost like I'm taking your car because I got to go pick up my daughter. Well, okay, I can see myself in that situation.
Yeah.
But you don't burst into a house that's yours, fling open a shower curtain, go, girl, what the fuck you screaming out? Make me some breakfast. Eat breakfast, take your daughter, and then leave. That, sir, is a piece of shit move. You're not a G. You're not hard. You're not a pimp. You're a piece of shit.
Hell yes.
Yep.
So this is just a little quick piece of advice. For all you fellas out there that think like Jody's life is the life you're going to go for, unless you look like Tyrese, don't try to pull this off because it ain't going to fucking work for you.
It's against the rules.
Exactly. Unless you look like Tyrese or have a 10-foot dick.
Which apparently Tyrese does. Basically, be Tyrese or Nick Cannon, and you can make this happen.
Jody here then goes back to his jacked mom's house, and he gets some static from her and meets her new boyfriend, Melvin. And this sets up this whole situation. So now you have his mom and her new boyfriend, Ving Rhames, which, by the way, if your mom brings home Ving Rhames, I get it. You look like Tyrese. You're a tough guy. If your mom brings home Ving Rhames, just shut the fuck up, dude. Just know your role, stay in your lane, and just keep the fuck away from Ving. Because he punches him later in this movie, and how Tyrese doesn't die in that scene is beyond me.
Dude, a part of me died watching that scene. He literally snatched a piece of my soul out of me when he punched him. Ving Rhames is amazing in this movie. I would challenge our commenters. And if you come at me with Pulp Fiction, I'm going to light you up. I challenge you, though, to find a better role Ving Rhames has had.
Yeah.
That he's actually performed well in. Like, he's done a couple different movies where he's had a good role. He's never been this character and played it so fucking well.
Yeah.
Like, there were times where I'm like, fuck you, stepdad. You can't talk to me like that, stepdad. But then there were other parts of me like, dude, he's really trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Especially considering, like, he's not a 14-year-old kid. Again, this is a 20-year-old man still living at home with his mother.
Yes.
And Ving Rhames is being really kind of decent to him throughout this whole thing.
So then we see Jody talking to Sweetpea outside the liquor store about how he's trying to get his life together, how he's trying to be a seller and not a broke buyer. And he decides that he wants to get into women's clothing. And his mom and her friend give him some advice on that. And he immediately gets to work selling dresses to women in a salon. And he takes to it really quickly. He's very good. And he starts making money immediately.
And I got to side with Monique. While both women are fantastic and all sizes, shapes are welcome.
Now, Jody, baby, I'm a size 16. Then that's average, too. Remember that? And you'll make a lot more money.
If you're not 12 to 15, get the fuck out of my face. You ain't got shit for me.
I was going to say, that's you, Corey. That's totally, that's all you.
You bring that big ass over here. I'll buy you any fucking dress you want.
Hi, people. If you find yourself, and I think we've all been there when you're in your 20s, man or woman, I think that you get to the point where you're like, man, I need to grow the fuck up and start like adulting things, like handling my fucking business. And when you get to that point, like Tyrese does here, like I want to give his character so much credit here because he immediately is like, this is what I'm good at. Mm-hmm. So this is what I'm going to do. you know, you could say what you want about the character, and he's banging all these women and cheating on his girlfriend, and he's kind of a piece of shit, but he knows his lane. Like, he stays in his lane, and he's like, dude, if that's what I'm good at, that's where I'm going to go with this. Go that route. Do something that you love to do. And pick that and stick with it, because you'll end up making money with it.
Yeah, for our first-time viewers, Armando lived in a hood area of Ohio for a little bit of his life. And during that time, he and I didn't talk for a while. I literally imagined this is what he was doing with his time while we weren't talking. Like, he was just going into women's barbershops with fucking stolen dresses. Like, I'm sorry, I respect you. I'd like to sell some of my garments in your store, please. And then he's just rubbing up on females, selling dresses like a motherfucker.
I may or may not have had a business opportunity with wigs and extensions. I'm just throwing it out there.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
You and Baby Boy were the same person in this movie for about 15 minutes.
Except I lived by myself and paid my bills. Well, most of them anyway.
Okay, so you were the same person for 5 minutes.
Back at home, Jody sees Mel naked in the kitchen making breakfast, and then they talk after Mel finally puts some clothes on, and Mel presses Jody about him and his mom getting serious and tries to impart some life lessons on Jody. And he does it here, and again, it's like this, like you said, he's kind of not walking on eggshells, but he knows who Jody is, and he's trying to slowly, like, give him, like, little pearls of fucking wisdom throughout this thing.
And Jody makes the mistake here of thinking, like, it's because I am a man and am respected. And it's like, no, dude, he respects and loves your mom.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he's even giving you, like, 2 vowels in this fucking thing, to quote Lil Wayne. Otherwise, he would ignore you or knock you the fuck out.
Yes. And after this, like, this is basically from here on out until the very end of this movie, Tyrese is just trying to get his mom to break up with Melvin.
He could be crazy or something. Is he a killer like Henry?
This is such a piece of shit move on his part, because he's not really worried about his mom. He's not really worried about anything other than, and he always says getting kicked out. And what's fucked up about it is he's using the death of his brother to guilt his mother into keeping him in that house.
Yep.
That is one of the most fucked up things he does in this entire movie. In a long list, 2 hours worth of fucked up shit, this is damn near the top, because he keeps throwing it in her fucking face.
Yep. So we flash forward here, and Jody then gets busted in a lie by Yvette after going out the night before with Sweetpea. Yvette then gets in his face about him not being a man. They get into it. They're, like, screaming at each other by the car at the apartment until they get back into Yvette's apartment and some serious Tyrese pipe gets laid here. I never understood this. I mean, I get the concept. We fight hard, we fuck hard. Like, but for me, like, looking at this relationship, and I've had friends that have been in these types of relationships. I've been in relationships like that, but they don't. For me, they don't last very long, because I'm like, I love my mental stability, and I don't like when I'm constantly on edge. And these relationships, to me, they're toxic as fuck.
You were right.
This is one of those really weird things, because this isn't even like a man or a woman thing. Like,
no,
Johnny Depp got his finger cut off and somebody shit in his bed, and he was trying to work it out.
Hell yes.
But it's been my experience overall that the best pussy, the best dick, the best anything, the best sex you're possibly going to have, right? It's not with a keeper. Those are people on parole or drunk or that you fucking hate. You know what I mean? Like, there's a catharsis in hate fucking, And that really seems to be what they're doing.
After this, Sweetpea gives Jody shit because Jody comes over to his place or his girlfriend's place, and he gives Jody shit about not getting him a job. And Jody tells him that he'll let him into the dress business if he can sell one item, and he lets him pick the item out of the trunk. And Sweetpea takes a dress and immediately goes with like the nuclear option when trying to sell a dress to a woman on the street. And like, I know this is a drama, and I know that you know, there's some really funny scenes. The Ving Rhames naked in the kitchen scene. This scene with Sweetpea trying to sell the dress, because you're like, oh shit, this is going good. Like, he's a hustler. He knows what he's doing, until she asks him what the dress is made of, and he fucking loses his mind. It's such a good scene. And it's just like it's almost like a throwaway scene, but it's so funny. You gotta put this fucking in the movie. You know what I mean?
Well, right, and you're showing the difference between the two guys.
Yeah.
Here, and how seriously Tyrese can take something when he's interested, because he did ask his mom and Monique, you know, what do I need to know, and its sizes and this and that. You got to know the fabric, obviously. And he took all of that information. So he's demonstrating he is a salesman. And when he's interested, he has the intelligence to actually put that knowledge out there and make it work for him. Whereas Sweetpea is a hustler. Hey, you want this shit? Yes. Here you go. It's a supply and demand situation with him, as opposed to Baby Boy, who's the actual salesman of the group. And I really like this scene, too, because at first they make it seem like Sweetpea's kind of a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, he's in the house, he's fucking playing his PlayStation or whatever, screaming at his woman. The mom's just sitting there keeping quiet. All hell seems to be breaking off. He seems like he's about to snap any fucking second. And then he kind of gives insight into why he's so frustrated. And, you know, him having to ask them for money, and he can't get a job. And, you know, he's just trying to do right. And every time he does, he keeps falling down. That is right around the time Sweetpea became one of my favorite characters in this movie. I was pretty much done with Jody at this point. Like, fuck you. You're hopeless. Sweetpea has a chance here. Please figure your shit out, man.
Yvette and Jody then get into a fight because her ex-boyfriend Rodney keeps calling her from jail. And afterwards, Sweetpea tells Jody that he's trying to get saved and baptized so he can get into heaven, and tries to convince Jody to do the same. And here is where I have the problem with Sweetpea.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Real quick, like, if you want to go to church, you're not living the life that, you know, you should be living, want to live, etc. You want to go church, you want to get saved. You know what? Do your thing. Be my guest. But don't ask everyone you know if they want to come in and do the same. This isn't the fucking Verizon friends and family plan. Don't be inviting everybody into your church. Don't be that, because everybody knows that person who's been a piece of shit for fucking 30 years, and all of a sudden they found Jesus and now they want you to do the same. I'm not a piece of shit and I don't need it. Get the fuck out of my face. This pissed me off so bad when Sweetpea, and it's not aggressive. I've known people to be aggressive about it. Sweetpea isn't aggressive here. It's just like, man, I think you should do the same and come down. I was like, I immediately lost my shit here.
I had a different impression. I don't have the disdain for religion that you do. So I didn't hit red quite as quickly. I thought it was really sad. Sweetpea having to have this conversation, because a 20-year-old.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I'll phrase it like this: a white 20-year-old is not worrying about his death and how he's going to be greeted when he gets to heaven.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not even in the fucking cards.
Well, and leading up to this, Tyrese is dreaming and having nightmares about his death.
Yeah.
You're having this conversation. Like, those things let's just say I wasn't really too worried about my death when I was 20 years old.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're not thinking about those things. And these two characters and millions of people like them think exactly this way.
Yeah, dude. Like this, it's such a
And it is
subtle
sad.
way that he wrote it in too, where he's just, and it seems like, oh, we're just having a conversation, a little funny about religion and Sweetpea being saved because Sweetpea seems like he's the hard one out of the group.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking sad conversation if you
really
actually break it down.
It really
like,
is.
It was so fucking sad. I donated $50 to the United Negro College Fund.
Listen, Corey, you and I both know you don't donate to shit. So.
I didn't. I donated to a new pair of fucking shoes for me.
So we then get more headbutting between Mel and Jody. Jody did some research on Melvin and found out about his 2 kids and how much of a piece of shit he used to be and how much of a piece of shit he thinks he is to this day. And Mel then jumps Jody here, chokes the shit out of him.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, Jodies of the world. Uncle Corey here. You've done some sleuthing around and you found out some info on your stepdad that you hate. Don't talk about a motherfucker's children, especially if you're fucking rolling up on them, asking them about their dad, especially if they have a broken relationship.
Yeah.
You are begging to have even fucking Mr. Brady kick the shit out of you, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Drummond is going to beat your fucking ass. Mr. Belvedere is going to pull down your pants and spank you like a bitch. What do you think Ving Rhames is going to do to you? Are you out of your mind? You're lucky he cares about your mom that much, where he choked you out and didn't murder you.
Yes. And apparently also Tyrese needs to be happy, or Jody needs to be happy that Mr. Belvedere isn't his stepdad, because that sounds like it was going to turn into like a, oh no, stepdaddy kind of moment. We then see Jody at one of Yvette's co-workers' apartment getting ready to bang one out. Jody then has an attack of conscience, said he isn't feeling it. He goes to leave, but Captain Happy just won't allow it. So he sits back down for a minute. He finally decides he isn't going to do it, and he ends up leaving.
This trick. You might not be friends, but you guys work together.
Yep.
You're fucking her, dude.
Did you call her a mark-ass trick?
I did. I was like, hey, trick. Hey, ho, don't be trifling.
Told you it was a trick, mark-ass hood rat.
She's not into him. She's not fucking trying to, like, it's not even a revenge plot on Taraji P. She just wants to fuck somebody's man. That's it.
Yeah, she just wants to get dick down. And I mean, that's cool and all. But it's not a don't do that, but it's an ouch. That just hurt my feelings. If you're with somebody who has an attack of conscience and is like, you know what, I can't be doing this. This isn't right. Don't call him a bitch.
You little bitch now.
Like, when she called him a bitch, it hurt my feelings. Like, don't do that. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's always made me laugh when girls call guys bitches, because it's just, oh, that's it? I'm a bitch. That's all you got? Cool. By the way, Jody's comeback here is so much better than anybody calling me a bitch, where he's just like, you can't fucking suck dick anyway.
Yeah.
If you are a prolific dick sucker and someone tells you you can't suck it very well at all, that cuts deep.
Hell yes.
Dude, it was the way she said it. It was the delivery of it. And I went,
oh yeah. When you grow up with spaghetti arms like this, you get called a bitch a lot. So that word just fucking falls off of me.
Either a bitch or Slender Man. So the next day at work, the girl is giving Yvette the evil eye. Yvette doesn't know why, and after Jody picks her up, they go to a fast food joint, and Yvette finds an empty box of condoms, and she loses it on Jody.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, perpetrators. Uncle Corey here. Burn the fucking evidence. You can't be sloppy and being a dirty hoe or a criminal or anything else if you're riding around with fucking evidence in the fucking seats. Ditch the evidence.
Who
Be
keeps
smarter.
the box? Who keeps the box just to begin with? You take
Right?
them out of the box and throw the box away immediately.
And again, we're going back to him being a child.
Yeah.
Don't treat your fucking car like a trash can, and guess what? You won't get caught. Stupid. Fucking
That's true.
moron.
And
this is why I don't wear condoms to begin with. Fucking gross.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, everybody. I thought I saw it earlier in this film. And Corey, you brought it up, and I so badly wanted to say something then, but I was setting you guys up for this don't do that. When I saw Yvette on the phone earlier in this film, I was like, she's sucking her thumb. I thought she might have had her hand up to her mouth, and that was about it. And then this scene happened, and she is straight sucking her thumb. If you are 20 years, if you're older than 6, stop sucking your fucking thumb. There is nothing that annoys me more, I don't think, at least for the next like 20 minutes. There is nothing that annoys me more than a grown person sucking their thumb in public.
You were right.
I get what Singleton was going for here, that she's just as addled in a way
Yeah.
as Jody is, and they're trying to play off of, these are just kids going through the motions without any kind of comprehension of their actual emotions.
Yes.
They're going through the motions of a relationship and being an adult, but they have no fucking clue what it is to actually be an adult.
Yeah, they don't know what it means.
Even though Taraji in this movie, or Yvette, has way more of a leg up. Like, she is trying to get her shit together. She just doesn't mind being treated like a fucking dirtbag. And she even tells Jody here, like, when they're having this argument about the condoms, like, I let you step out. Just don't throw it in my fucking face. I know who you are. I don't care. And this is where the scene where he hits her, and it's like, yo, if your fucking girl gives you a battle pass and just asks you not to throw it in her face, you don't hit her. You take her to dinner immediately. Because that's the best fucking friend you're ever going to have.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
And I don't give a shit what situation you're in, whether he hit her or he just made her cry by saying something mean or whatever the case is. His only recourse in his mind is, I'll just go down on you and daddy fix everything.
Yep.
Fucking, if that's how your brain is wired and works, just do something else. Just immediately walk away. If your only recourse is, I'll just chow box and get out of this situation, that's not the correct answer on this Scantron sheet. Like, go to something else.
Yeah, no. Because men are so emotionally stupid and stunted, a blowjob will make us forget a lot.
Yes.
Not how the reverse works.
After this scene, we basically get the scenes between Yvette and Jody, where Yvette breaks it off with Jody. She feels lonely without him. He's kind of doing his thing. And Jody goes to his mom, and she gives him some advice, like, put yourself in her shoes. Like, or if you don't want to do that, what if Melvin treated me like you're treating her? Like, she gives some of the best fucking advice throughout this movie.
Yeah. She's the Larry Fishburne in this movie.
Absolutely. And we then get Jody getting jumped by some younger kids. And he goes to Sweetpea's place. And then they jump in the car, find the kids, and they hold them at gunpoint. They knock out each of the kids. And then Sweetpea takes off his belt and whips the last one.
This was funny. I'm glad they didn't go down the road of, like, Sweetpea now is going to shoot all these kids.
Yeah.
I like how they go down this road where it's
Yep.
tit for tat. Like, not everything in the fucking hood is a gunshot.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to the extreme. Well, now I got to protect my rep, so fuck you. No, like you jumped me. Now we're gonna beat your ass.
Yep. We then get to back at Jody's mom's house. Jody gets into an argument, and when Melvin comes home, shit gets real. Melvin punches him in the fucking face, and Jody is like, screw this shit, mom and stepdad. I'm gonna take my bike that has Nympho airbrushed on the side of it and get the fuck on out of here.
Don't do that, it's not good for ya.
Hi, Jodies of the world. Cool, you want to fuck around, you want to be that dude. Look at me, I'm banging chicks. Whatever the fuck. You want to ride a bike at 20? That's fine. For exercise, not to get to the store. Okay? But you're there. This is who you are. Don't get Nympho airbrushed on your fucking bike. That is childish. You want to talk about baby boy, being a baby, all the references. That is fucking exhibit A. If we got evidence lined up here.
Yes. And I will just throw a cautionary tale to anyone out there thinking they're hard. If you just got beat up by, I don't know, 4, 5, 13-year-old kids, don't try to fight Ving Rhames. That's really dumb. You're not good at fighting.
Hell yes.
We then get the scenes here where Snoop comes. Snoop plays Rodney in this, and he comes to Yvette's apartment after he gets out of jail. There's a whole like back and forth here, and we get the scene where Snoop smacks the shit out of her and then tries to shrape her in front of her son. And JoJo jumps in, tries to stop what's going on, and Snoop takes off.
Snoop is so chill. It is so hard to believe, one, that he could be that character, and two, he does it so well. I totally believe he's that fucking guy.
100%.
He's a fucking nightmare. And the way he treats Jody's son is more terrifying than how he treats Yvette.
You know the worst is, and I was just like, I wanted Snoop to get shot in the dick in these scenes. I mean, obviously, what he does to Yvette is fucking awful. But when she wakes him up on the couch and he gets up and he's like, hey, little man, you building a fort? Fuck your fort. Like, yo! You know what? Someone needs to beat that ass because that shit ain't right. Don't do that.
For real.
We then get Yvette going to Jody, telling him what happened. Jody and Sweetpea are talking about killing Rodney, and after Sweetpea preys on it, they decide not to. And then we get to the end of the movie where Rodney has other plans. Mm-hmm. He takes Yvette's car, drives over to Sweetpea's house, and starts blasting. They showed Jody getting shot, but that was all in his mind in a dream sequence. And then Rodney gets back to Yvette's place. All the electricity's off. And after checking the fuses, he gets rolled up on by Jody and Sweetpea. They chase him down the street, and Jody shoots Rodney in the legs. Sweetpea finishes him off when Jody can't.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, Jodies and Sweetpeas of the world. Your plan is fantastic. Love the ambush.
Yes.
Love it, love it, love it. Your execution is shit. Don't talk.
Yes.
You are there to murder another person.
Yes.
Get to murdering. He doesn't need to, he's not going to remember your last line. He doesn't need to see your face. He doesn't need to know who did it. You know why? Because he's going to be fucking dead if you just do your job.
Yes. He needs to die.
Crazy.
He needs to die at the fuse box. And you know what?
100%.
Not even see it coming. That's the one thing I love about these mafia movies and just that whole lure in general. That dude never sees it coming.
Nope.
You get the string around the neck from behind. You get the gun to the head. Done and done. Everything's silent. There's nothing dramatic about it. It's just bang out. And that's what needed to happen.
It's like the people that stand over a dead body talking shit. They can't hear you. They're dead.
Jody then runs to his mom's house. He loses his shit. Melvin walks in. He takes the gun from Jody, shows him how to rub off the fingerprints, and then he takes the gun, says not a single word, and walks out of the room.
This was a powerful scene.
Yep.
Between two men coming to an understanding. And it's just...
No, it's great. It's great.
I have no words. It was truly an awesome scene.
No, the build up to this scene and the execution of this scene was awesome.
Yes.
And it's almost like the build up to this from this movie from the beginning to the end is like, oh, it's him realizing, who he is, who he needs to be, and he needs to be a man and yada yada. Dude, for me, the whole build up to this movie wasn't that. It was this scene. It was
definitely his and Melvin's arc. 100%.
Yeah. So we then get to the end of this movie where we see, Jody and his mom getting along finally. He's moved in with Yvette, so he's just coming over to visit. Him and Melvin are cool now. And then we flash forward and we see Yvette pregnant. They're all happy. Sweetpea's getting baptized. And the movie ends on a picnic scene. And basically all of these scenes were the flash forwards that Yvette had. All the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where they're at right now.
Yeah, I loved the ending. I hate when movies have to fall back. Movies, books, TV, whatever it is. When they have to fall on trauma at the end.
Yes.
Sometimes shit just works out for people.
Yes.
And if nobody else deserved it, Yvette deserved it. Jody's mom deserved it.
Yep.
And Melvin deserved it. Like, they all put up with some shit. They all deserve to see this kid happy and alive and get his shit together.
Yes.
And one of my favorite lines of the movie that may have gone unnoticed, but when Jody turns his car on at the end, starts his car, and Melvin is talking to a dude outside, and he's like, oh, what you know about this? And it's Marvin Gaye singing again.
Yep.
Melvin's friend goes, man, I used to get so much pussy to this song back in the day. I fell the fuck out. Just offhanded comment. It was fantastic. But
that was perfect.
This movie was, again, so good.
I love this movie.
Oftentimes we talk about in movies, especially on this show, how derivative they are. This one is just like that one. It was just like the one before that came from fucking Hamlet. We get it. This movie had every opportunity to take every fucking cliche lane in what a hood movie is supposed to be and what a black film is supposed to be. And they avoided it every time.
Yep.
Every single time. They could have gone this way and just made it easy and comfortable because we all understand that's what happens in the hood. Nope. We're going to tell a real fucking story and how things really go.
Yeah, and on that note, I liked it because, listen, you can have, and I'm not saying, any other movies, any other hood. I fucking love all hood movies, however you want, whatever genre you want to put them in. But those aren't uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of pieces in this film. I love films that make you a little uncomfortable, that make you squirm a little bit.
100%.
And there's a couple of parts in this film where they kind of go there and they make you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking love it. And like you said, it's not cliched. It's not, oh, well, we should do this because this is this is what happens in these types of movies. And Singleton kind of just took that, flipped it on its ear, and we're going to do something different here. But I just, front to back, love this movie. And for, I think it was 2 hours, 2:10, something like that.
Something like that.
It's paced really well. I know it's a slow burn at the beginning, but it's paced pretty well throughout.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters he has to get through. And he does them all justice by actually giving them arcs and full plot lines. And in order to do that, it takes some time to sometimes work through those stories naturally. So
absolutely.
When I first saw it, I was like, fucking 2 hours. Are you kidding me?
Same.
But it was necessary. It was 100% necessary.
There wasn't
much more so than some other 2-hour movies we've done before.
100%. No, there wasn't a lot of fat on this movie.
No, I highly recommend this. I think it still stands up, and I think it's one of those ones where so many times in movies today we are beat over the head with a message, and it's so unbelievably unnecessary.
Yep.
And this one, they are giving you a message. They are telling you a way to be, a way to grow up, a cautionary tale.
Yep.
But they do it in a way that's so natural and so entertaining and so empathetic that it's easy to fall in line with any of these characters. Even if you're a fucking Rodney. They're hey, dude, stop being a piece of shit because 2 guys are going to fucking shoot you in your calves and then murder you.
Yes.
It's just like, I was blown away by this movie. I really was. I'd never seen it before, and I was absolutely blown away by it.
You were right.
I love this movie. That's all I got, man. Do you got anything else on this?
Hell no. Go see this movie, please. It is 100%. So good.
It was on what, Hulu? I believe? Yep. Yeah, so if you have a Hulu subscription, go watch it on Hulu. It's a good watch. But
and by the way, just as I know this show's long as shit, but by the way, Hulu, enough is enough. I have looked at every movie we've had to watch on Hulu after our review has come out, and that motherfucker is trending like a son of a bitch. So Hulu, let's go. Job me now.
Job and money me. So that's all we got. But for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2001's Baby Boy.